alaikum, peace and blessings. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
I need you.
Peace and blessings, family. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, and y'all know that I have been on a mission to introduce to you these wonderful emerging new market leaders and industry disruptors from the Mo Today Black Muslim Business Directory. And so I'm working on new platforms and other ways to get the word out there about you. So we picked 19 shows to test out on our new Roku network called Mo Today. So if you have Roku TV, and if you bought a TV in the last 2 years, they're all equipped with Roku at this point. Go out there and add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show to your channel list. The icon's gonna be Mo Today, and you should see it right here in the corner. And get access to the channel, and you will start to see some of our wonderful shows that are listed up here on our new Roku channel. This is just a little tester. Let's see if y'all like it. Let me know in the chat what you think, and go out there and add the channel to your Roku lineup. Let me show you what it looks like to your Roku lineup. Let's see, it'll look like that. There it is. Peace and blessings.
And I'm saying this to all of us. Our people are ready to spend their money with their own. There's no time better than this for 6 or 8 of you to pool your money and look in the community and open up a store to fulfill the needs of our people, and we will support you. It's your time now. That's being a man. Supporting your own people that are in business. Going into business yourself. Think out of the box. What can you create that will put black people to work?
To share with you some of the magnificent and triumphant teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When we say magnificent and triumphant teachings, These two words, magnificent and triumphant, are adjectives that describe the teaching of Elijah Muhammad. That which is magnificent is that which is supremely great. That which is triumphant is that which is powerful enough to overcome obstacles. Think of it, black man and woman. There is a teaching in America for you that is supremely great, meaning that it is a teaching above all other teachings that have ever entered the ears of a black man and woman.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, family. How are we doing? Happy Saturday. Welcome to everyone. Ooh, I see y'all loading up the chat. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Let's see. I see Brother Lamont. I see Sister Alita. I see the regional sky girl. She's not in the sky. I see Brother Carlos, Sister Alicia. Welcome, welcome. Peace and blessings. Some of y'all are not in the chat, but I see even more of y'all online. Sister Sharis, welcome, welcome. Man, how's y'all week been? Let me know in the chat. I'm going to do something a little different today that I normally don't do. Y'all know I normally don't talk about like, pop culture stuff. And it's just some stuff happening in the news this week that it just struck me. Sometimes there's things I'm not really big on the news and all of that kind of stuff. I watch the financial markets to kind of keep up just because it's something that I love. Somebody says it's been a busy week. Okay. But then sometimes a story just strikes me and I just follow it and start looking at it. And so there was a couple stories this week that hit me. And I'm going to speak on them. I'm not an expert. I don't know the people involved. Let me give y'all a disclaimer before I start. This is just my opinion and how it struck me. So first off, who got their commemorative Elijah coin pendants this week? Let me know in the chat. Sister Regional Sky Girl says, she's giggling. I'm not in the sky yet. 3 flights later today, here in a random hotel. You know what? When I started doing business consulting years ago, and I was working with, at that time, I was kind of like freelancing. And then even when I freelanced, and then when I went into a full-time position at a consulting firm, the same thing happened. I always got the out-of-town gigs. When the schedule would come out, it would say, I'm in Boston, I'm in Buffalo, I'm in Newark, I'm in New York. And so I spent, somebody asked me the other day, oh, I got to tell you about this too. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how did you get so many projects? Oh, thank you, Mom. Mom says, congratulations on the launch of our Roku channel. So thank you, Mom, for reminding me of that before I tell you about this other experience. If you have Roku, go out there and add the Mind of an Entrepreneur show. I love doing this with you all. I started doing it, as I was about to say, when I was on the road. So I was, I would come home and I would do it in my second bedroom at that time in an apartment I was living in Chicago. And then I would go on the road and just do these podcasts. And I would tell you, my goal for it was not to be out here in the public, not to get attention, but it really purely was to just share mental strategies with my people. And plus, because I was traveling so much, I was out of touch. And so speaking of Regional Sky Girl saying random hotel, I got to the point where I was like, if I never see another hotel again, I'm good. It kind of made me a a little bit of a hotel snob because I don't like no janky hotel. Um, anyway, yeah, so I was doing this podcast when nobody was listening. There'd be like 0 people listening, and I just had things that I was putting on my mind and my heart, or experiences that I was having, that I just wanted to share. And so I just kept going out here recording. And I can't tell you how much business and how many great relationships I've gotten just from sharing myself in this way. I've gotten offers to be on different reality TV shows and all that. That wasn't my thing. I'm paranoid about being made to look like a clown. So I was like, nah, I'm good. Plus, I don't really trust myself. So I don't know how I might react in certain situations. I kind of tend to control my vibrations around me. But, no offense against anybody who does do it. I just felt like it was a little bit too far away from who I am, even though in some cases it's been good money. But speaking of which, so this week I got a call from somebody who said that they love the coffee talks. And they said, they offered verbally. I said, let's put it on, a certain network and blah, blah, blah. They said, but we just want you to take some of the Muhammad out of it. And I said, well, what's the Muhammad? You got the Elijah Muhammad prayer at the beginning, and you got a lot of advertising about that house, and and I said, see, that's my kryptonite. Muhammad is my kryptonite. Muhammad is what makes me attractive enough for you to call me and want to put my show on your network. So Muhammad stays. That's non-negotiable. So they're like, okay, let me go talk to some people. I just thought it would make it a little bit more marketable. I said, well, do what you do. And we'll see. I'm working on, you all know I like to change the scenery. So I'm still working through. I got part of the setup done, but our coffee talks will start to, yeah. He said, well, no, he didn't. Yeah, they did. So I want to kind of what do y'all think if we do coffee talks like in the kitchen? Like around spices and herbs, or do you want to do it like on a couch in a relaxed setting, like we just sitting in the living room chit-chatting? Let me know in the chat what you think, and we're going to change that up for next week. Do we want to be in the kitchen, like at the table, looking like we're talking to each other, and at some point, especially when we get the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House Museum open, we'll do coffee talks live, like right there in the breakfast nook, and actually tape it where we'll have a live audience. So I'm looking forward to that kind of stuff. But I get those kind of offers all the time where people, they see me, they want to do something. They say, well, let's strip down the Muhammad, or let's strip that out of it. Let's take that out of it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just not doing that. And so funny because I remember the first time I got an offer like that. Sister Leisha said, let your decision be organic, however you feel that morning. Good point. First time I got an offer like that, somebody asked me, this was somebody that was working with me, said, well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that can do a coffee talk. Why would they want you? Sister Letha says, in front of the fireplace. It's cold outside. Yeah. And I said, you know what? And this is how I want to start this talk off by saying this to you all. If somebody asks you what makes you so special, then understand out the gate that they don't see you. Understand that straight out the gate. If somebody's like, I just don't see the big deal. Like, why? Well, that's because you don't see me. So, Mom says, good morning, everyone. Okay, she said kitchen would be different. Agree if you feel it. Okay. All right. So we're going to play around with that. All right. So there's two headlines that I want to just talk about today, and y'all can talk away in the chat if you want, and give me some additional talking points on it if you want. The first one is the whole Brittany Griner situation. Let me know in the chat if you know about Brittany Griner. You know, she was imprisoned in Russia, in a Russian jail for 8 months. She was there. She's a professional basketball player. She's a woman. And she got caught with some form of marijuana. And they locked her up. And there's been this big push to get her out of prison and get her back. And this week, President Biden and the White House announced that they were swapping her for a convicted arms dealer. I think people call him the merchant of death. And I was happy that, you know, she was coming home. I can't imagine being stuck in any jail, let alone a Russian jail, away from your family, not able to, it just, period. They talked about how freezing it was, how cold it was, and how she cut her dreadlocks off because her hair was freezing. And I guess that was probably making her even colder. Just, you know, some horrific conditions, really heavy-handedness for the crime, I think. But you know what struck me was how people came out. I'm talking about these talk show pundits talking about how could they trade her. One man, there was a senator on CNN who called her a cross-sectional individual. I don't know what the heck that means. That's some new definition. And I don't know why that matters. She's a human being. What her sexuality is, LGBTQ, that ain't even the issue right now. We're talking about getting this person out of jail. And I don't think you have to be part of that community to understand that don't even matter. I mean, I'm a straight Black female, and I didn't even think about that. I was like, man, get this sister home. But the nastiness and how people say, well, this is a mistake. It's not a fair trade. There should have been more than one person included in this swap for the merchant of death. And I saw the White House secretary getting really upset. And she said, we had an opportunity to trade one person for one person. That wasn't part of the negotiations. Some people came out, and I saw 45 come out and say something like it was bad negotiating, all of this. But the way that her triumphant release, and I'm saying triumphant because she's home, degraded her as a person and as a woman. And the conversation became about how she wasn't worth it and how it was her celebrity that got her home. And it was just something that struck me as a Black woman, that people were saying they felt better if it had been one of the other guys that happened to have been a white man that they exchanged for the merchant of death, but not her. And all of a sudden, this became about her worth, her value. It reminded me of Surah 60 in the Holy Quran, the woman who is examined. And I just started going through that, and I was like, this is unreal how they're trying to make her subhuman. And they're really, really showing, a lot of people really showing what in the world they think. And I feel like if you have the nerve to say that, then you understand that then, all right, let's say it's political. Let's say you feel like as a woman, she's not worth it. As a Black woman, she's not worth it. As a LGBTQ plus member of the community, that community, she's not worth, whatever you feel. Think about politically, her release impacts the Democratic Party, Biden, whenever you think about the Democrats. I'm not really down with either party. I never vote straight party. Y'all know I don't normally talk about this stuff, but no, because I don't feel like either party has done enough for us as a people. So I'm very issues driven when it comes to politics, but I can see the politics in it. If I'm President Joe Biden and I'm the leader of a party, then the Black woman gets me a little bit of support from that Black female. The woman piece gets me some support from women. The LGBTQ plus gets him support from that community. The professional athlete, you name it. The marijuana supporters. So there's more wrapped up politically and scoring points with releasing Brittany Griner than these other people. And then at the same time, stop talking, because you don't know all the details. You don't know what else that other person did. You don't know who they're working for. You don't know what Russia really said. Have we seen the transcripts of what Putin actually said? I've not seen them. I don't know if y'all seen them. I've seen people say what they think he said and what they think the negotiations should have been. But let's dial back, putting this person's value on the line as we're evaluating this. And I just don't feel like any of us as marginalized people should be siding on that conversation. Let me see what y'all saying in the chat. Let's see. Sister Alicia said, I'm happy for her to be back in the States. She shouldn't have been arrested. I don't agree with the swap. Okay. Aletha says, yes, her recent release exchanged for an arms dealer. Mom says, happy she's been released by any means necessary. Somebody else said, I noticed that most of the vitriol that was directed towards her came from conservative talk show hosts. Yeah, but we live you're right. It's a small subset of conservative talk show hosts. But remember, hate is loud, lies are loud, but love is whispering. What about the people who feel happy about her release, speaking a little louder? And that's what I'm saying something today. It ain't got nothing to do with who she is, the terms, the cross-sectional, the whatever. I'm happy that the sister is released. Okay, then it says, somebody else said, they loved her when she was winning those Olympic gold medals. They don't value her unless they feel like she is doing something to personally benefit them. I am thankful that she is home. Thank you for that, sis. Somebody else said, yeah, her sexuality should have never been brought to the forefront. I'm not a supporter of that community, but of the Black women, there are others here that deserve their freedom for nonviolent crime. Yeah. I don't think you have to be, all this packaging and labeling that we do, where if somebody said, this is how our minds are being trained nowadays. Something happens to somebody says something, we automatically look to see how are they packaged? What's the label? What community are they a part of? Are they Christian? Are they Muslim? Are they straight? Are they gay? Are they transgender? Are they Black? Are they white? Are they this? Are they that? And then, depending on the label, then we decide, whether or not we support. So we're not supporting on a moral issue or on what's right. We support oftentimes based on a label. Now, don't get me wrong. I think sometimes that's necessary because sometimes you just got to go black or go home. Sometimes you got to do that. But I just think we do that too much. Let's see. Somebody else says, my issue is not with who they traded for her. My issue is they arrested her for a legal substance and very little of it. They used her as a pawn to do exactly what they just did politically. Good point. Other people saying, yep, they're with me. They're issues driven. People show that they do not value her as a Black woman. And it was CBD in a vape, not marijuana. Now that's interesting. CBD in a vape, not marijuana. Yeah. So when you look at that, you look at Sister Leisha's last comment where she said, my issue is not with who they traded her for. My issue is they arrested her for illegal substance, very little of it. They used her as a pawn to do exactly what they just did politically. Then how much negotiating power do you think then that the United States actually had if they were trying to get her back? You know what I mean? If she got arrested for CBD in a vape and very little of it, then it was political from the very beginning. And whoever arrested her and came up with the idea knew the value that she would carry as a political figure because of how many boxes she checked. And they knew what to ask for in exchange. So I just think sometimes we got to go beneath the surface. And I wanted to say that because there's a lot of conservative talk show hosts who are devaluing her. But I've been seeing some black podcasters devaluing her as well. All right. So the next headline that just kind of touched my soul a little bit this week is Deion Sanders. How many of y'all saw what's going on with Deion Sanders? He's been supporting and helping at-risk youth in terms of athletics and education for years. He had his own school, Prime Prep Academy, I think it was, struggled with funding, became the head coach at Jackson State. He's gone through a lot. He's a superpower, but he's been through a lot. You know, he's had his surgeries on his feet, and he's dealt with a lot of political and criminal issues being where he is, including the criminal issue of the water tampering and the issue in Jackson. He gave up half his salary to help to say, hey, let's build this stadium. There's a whole lot of things to it. So he recently then was offered a job in Colorado to be the head coach there. I don't know how much money it was. I know it's got to be bad for a brother who has demonstrated how much he loves his people and those folks to go from a warm climate to a cold climate and work. But man, people have been dragging this brother. I literally, the way people were dragging him, I stopped and just said, Allah, please bless this brother and reward him for whatever he's done for our people. Because see, here's the thing. We love being armchair quarterbacks as a people. We just don't generally get involved in things. I said, I've always tried to change that and not sit back and be an armchair supporter. Yeah, I support, but what have I done? How many homeless people have I fed? How much have I contributed to my community? I think about those kind of things. So much so that I try to lead by example, and I've fused my business with my work in the community just because I think it's important. Somebody has to take a stance. Somebody got to make a difference. And it may not be you, but support the people who do. And y'all don't know what was going on over there at Jackson State. How many of y'all ever worked for Black people at a Black institution? It's hard. And we don't know what's going on over there. You don't know what was promised, what was said, what kind of conversations were had. You don't know what level of discomfort or comfort he may or may not be in, unless, of course, you know him. But to call Deion Sanders ain't no coon, not by my definition. But I see people calling him coons. I see people talking about he not nation building. How much of this do you want him to put on your back? And you say, okay, it's the HBCUs. And do we really own the HBCUs? Do we own the buildings and the properties? Do we really run the organization? Are we really, or is there a puppet master? No, we got to wake up and stop being linear thinkers. You got to realize that these are complex mathematical problems, relationships, emotions, all kinds of things wrapped up in one. So when you see things, don't just look at what's on the surface and don't be so linear. Oh, look at that. Look at that coon. I wouldn't consider him a coon. And it bothered me that people were, and I'm sure Prime is probably like, it's whatever. I'm doing what I got to do. I don't see that as, I don't see him as cooning. Because I'm sure he's going to still be helping Black people. It seems like that's in his DNA. I don't know him. It seems like he's still going to be down. But maybe the conditions under which he was either being forced to work and live was just, he just couldn't do it anymore. He was making $300,000 a year. It's not a lot of money. It's a lot of money if you sitting at home making $30,000 a year. But especially when you out here and you putting a program on your back and you working and you give 24/7 to what it is that you do, $300,000 is not a lot of money. Sometimes we can make just as much impact when we go into, right, the valley of the shadow of death or into Jonah's belly. If you will. Sometimes we can make impact there as well. I just think that that's his personal choice. We can't hold him hostage because we're not doing anything. I see even a lot of pseudo celebrities and people like that talking about him. But the question is, if you're so down for HBCUs, how much have you donated? How much have you volunteered? Did you even go to a HBCU? So I just think we have to tone that down, and some of our issues, we got to learn to keep them in house. You don't be out here getting on another Black person show to dog out another Black person. We got to start thinking a little more old school. Family is family. And we pick up the phone and say, hey, brother, can we talk? Anybody say, man, Deion is doing so much. How can I supplement what he's doing? No, I didn't see a lot of people saying that. So that just struck me. That just struck me. It bothered me that so many of us came out and started trying to tear him down because he left Jackson State. And I don't know that a lot of us know what he was going through. And I don't even know that a lot of us would do what he's done. And I don't know that a lot of us would endure what he has endured. So when you see somebody in your community, and I'm saying that because I'm one of these people, somebody in your community that is lifting a heavy weight, support them. Take a minute and say, you know what? Let me see what I can do to support. Let me write a note and say, let me let that brother or sister know that I support them. I appreciate all of you all's notes and things like that that you send to me. I appreciate that. And I'm not putting myself on the level of Deion Sanders, so y'all can stop thinking that in the chat, but or on who's listening, stop thinking that. I'm not putting myself on that level, but I know I'm a person who lifts heavy weight. I'm a person who gets out over my skis and really strives because I'm addicted to the revelation. I love the energy of revelation. That's where I'm beyond my intellectual capacity. And it's just me and Allah and whoever else is on that level too, working to create something. And Allah has blessed me to make history as a result of that creation. And oftentimes when you're that kind of person, a lot of people can't deal with you. A lot of people can't be in your circle, or they come around you and they're takers. They may say, well, I can get up on this person and get some resources or get this or get that, not even realizing that you way out here in that space of revelation. And really what you need is somebody who's going to come along and be a part of that journey with you. Some of us take up the mantle and we walk through the volume of the book. We say, look, I don't know where I am in this book, but I want to make a difference. I believe I was born into this world to make a difference. I believe that I am the answer of the prayers of my ancestors. I'm one of the answers of the prayers of my ancestors. I believe my ancestors are with me. My people are with me. I don't look at things in terms of the packaging. I don't look at things in terms of age. I don't look at things in terms of even color, even religion. I'm just looking for Allah everywhere. And so even when I'm doing projects and I'm working on something, my prayer is, Allah, I really see this needs to be done and I want to do it. Cover me because I'm going in. And every time, He's never forsaken me. So when you see our leaders, whether it's Martin Luther King, whether it's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Marcus Garvey, or any of our sisters or brothers who are stepping out there, and I'm saying that I use the men as an example because oftentimes we publicly throw the men under the bus and we privately throw the women under the bus. But step up and say, how can I help? You might not have the stomach to do what you see us doing. You may say, I ain't got the stomach or the guts, nor do I care enough to do what Sister Sajdah does. I don't have the stomach or the guts, nor do I care enough to do what Deion Sanders does. But every little bit helps. Every little bit of support helps. Because when you step out there and things don't look, see, I'm looking at Deion's journey of being connected to these young Black men who are at risk and in athletics and striving to get an education. Do you know how much athletics have helped to pull people into new, different lifestyles, up out of poverty, up out of neighborhoods and communities where they probably would have died had they stayed there? Because anytime you start to combine creativity with the physical aspect, you are changing your overall internal vibration, which is going to automatically give you access to more opportunities because you attract at the level that you're vibrating at. So to give these children, these young boys, these opportunities, that's a calling. That's a gift. Because anybody out here that's worked with our youth, our at-risk youth, know that that's a challenge. And to be able to do it on a long-term level, to do it at that level, in the public eye, to be a master motivator like that, that's a gift. Because it's not easy. It's not easy. Not only dealing with our people, but dealing with the backlash that comes with it. You got the parents. It's not easy. So don't be so quick to join on to the judgment. You may say, well, I thought he was nation building and I'm I'm not supporting him. I'm not down with that. But who's to say that he's still not nation building? Who's say that? Let me see what y'all saying in the chat about it. You said, yeah, okay. So yeah, somebody said it was $5 million. Okay. Um, I'm not made. I'm not made with him. He has sacrificed and deserves the best. I agree with that. Let's see. At subconscious level, yeah. So I just, those two headlines touched me to this week. Deion Sanders started last week when I saw it on, I think it was on Saturday or Sunday. And I started seeing how people was going in on him. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, that ain't right. That ain't right, y'all. We can't do that. Like, and then especially not in the public. Now, would y'all have been satisfied if he said, hey, I'm leaving. Let me give y'all an opportunity to find somebody else. Who knows what those conversations were like? He's brought more to that football program than anybody else has. Now you see the HBCUs and they're getting on ESPN and they're getting endorsements. So now the people who are there pick up the mantle and go. Don't put all that on one person's shoulder. If you like this and you like what this person does, then support them. It's so easy nowadays when we sit back on the couch, look at Facebook and look at Instagram, and all we do is just talk smack about folks. That's just, those are the things that they came to my mind this week. And I really just have to appeal to us and to thank you all for the levels of support that you've shown me. For example, with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House, with the work that I do with helping to train marginalized people and give them mental strategies to navigate the world of business. Why do I do that? I get people all the time from my circle, professional circle. They hit me up on LinkedIn and go, girl, what are you doing? Stop giving this stuff away. But I've just been so blessed. And I was looking back at my client list over the years and some of the places and tables that I've been invited to sit at that I could not have put myself there because I didn't know the tables existed. I'm just grateful. And so in that gratitude, I give back and I pay it forward. And that's part of my blessing. So when these people come and say, hey, I want to put Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks on my network, can we take Muhammad out of there? And can we take some of the blackness out of there? And then I'm like, well, then what we got left? What are we going to do? Doesn't make sense. So let me know in the chat anything you all want to say about that or anything else you guys want to talk about. I just wanted to just kind of have that pop culture moment. Meanwhile, you got them over here destabilizing cryptocurrency so they can bring in the regulation, and you got presidents and heads and leaders of the crypto market popping up dead and with they gone and then or missing and billions of dollars is missing. But you mad over them bringing a sister home from Russia? But you mad because Dion went from Jackson State to Colorado? Where's the conservative pundits and where's the black celebrity talk show and podcast talking about that? The billions of dollars that's missing in the crypto market. Where'd the money go? What happened? Is anybody talking about let's do this. Let's think about the unsung heroes in our community, because we got some really powerful unsung heroes in our community and in the broader community. People who are rescuing runaway teen prostitutes. People who are getting people off of death row and solving cases, cold cases where brothers and sisters sitting in prison. Ain't nobody trying to solve the case, but they know they're innocent. You got unsung heroes who are helping with that kind of thing. It's just like, and you got actors and actresses and entertainers who are doing that. Let's support those people. Let's support those efforts. I actually believe that if we were more united, this is probably obvious, and people knew that they would have more support, I think people would take more chances and step out there. They would take more risk. See, because the support can help mitigate the risk. So I think we'd have a difference in our community and in our organizations overnight. You got Black people in corporate America standing up to make sure that other Black people get paid what they're worth. I know when I was in corporate America, I wasn't paid what I was worth. I know that right now, the work that I do with coaching, training, crisis management, business consulting, business development, that I'm not paid what I'm worth. So there are people out there who are advocating for that. This is in every field of endeavor. You got Black people in professions that you probably never even knew existed. And they're fighting and advocating. So let's not be so cowardly. And don't get me started on healthcare. I know some real unsung heroes in the healthcare community who are fighting against drug companies and against an industry infrastructure that is literally killing our people. Whether it's the cocktail of medicines that we're taking that is having such an ill effect on us that it's accelerating our decline, whether it's the untimely diagnoses, or the fact that oftentimes people just don't see us, or the fact that if we got a complicated case that we are a big dollar patient. But you got people in the healthcare industry that look like me and you who are fighting for that. And I think that if as a community, people knew that if they stood up, folks would have their back, I think more people would stand up. More people would run for office. More people would take a chance and open a business. And I just think it's time. I just definitely think it's time. The Messenger can be quoted as saying, "Don't withhold your good because somebody else withhold theirs. You do your part. Do your part. What are you doing? How are you giving back? And if you don't have a way to give back, support somebody who is giving back. But don't leave us out here by ourselves and then talk about us with your Twitter fingers and your Instagram fingers and talk smack. Well, what they're doing ain't nothing, no way." Or, I've heard so many things with some of the stuff that I've done. It's just incredible. I remember when we were building the micro hospital in Maryland, people was like, "She ain't really building no hospital. She's a manager." see, because if this is an interesting thing. As a Black person, if we didn't have to fight on both fronts, think about how phenomenal we'll be. You're automatically going to have to do some strategic planning and some fighting just to begin to do things that have not been done before. There are industry standards that you're defying. There's things you got to break through. You got to do something different. Especially, some people just want to exist. They just want to shop. They just want to eat. They just want to exist, and that's cool. But there's some of us who want to do that plus some other stuff. But the point being is this. Anytime you got to fight on two fronts, and the one front should be a given. Because if you're an industry disruptor, in that word alone means that there's some some fighting, either mental, spiritual, strategic, because you got an infrastructure that wants things to be a certain way. You're thinking outside of the box. So if you step outside the box, if you're more creative, even nature has struggles. You know, when you take that seed and you plant that seed in the ground and it begins to unfold and come up through the earth, there's some pain there. There's some struggle there. I get all that. But when we have to be defensive with our people who say all kind of stuff. I mean, we say so much stuff. They have me looking in the Bible and the Quran going, is this written? Even for myself personally, I get these questions like, okay, where her man at? Okay, come on, man. Come on over here and share with some of this burden. But why do I have to be judged, right? Because that ain't happened for me yet. Why does somebody have to be judged because they want a little relief and they go somewhere else maybe to make a little bit money? Maybe he's doing it temporarily. Maybe he's exhausted so much of his own personal funds that in order to keep himself afloat, I'm talking about Deion Sanders now, that he need to go take that $5 million and let his central nervous system have a little bit of relief. Maybe that's what he got to do. I don't know. Maybe he's not entrepreneurs like we are. So within our projects that we build cost centers that are feeding the project. That's how I do things. So maybe that's not who that person is. But my point is that, you know, if we stop this wanton criticism, which is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad tells us to do, stop criticizing people who are trying to make a difference and provide a safe space around them. Wouldn't that be beautiful if when you step out there, somebody puts a little safe space around you so that you could create? That's why I think creative people and artists should be protected so that they can create from that space of safety. Imagine what they would create. Some would argue that the contrast or the struggle or the suffering makes the art even more beautiful. I could see that. But at the same time, let's just remember that people are human. And let's not join the fray. Let's not attack. I was watching The Breakfast Club the other day, and Charlemagne the God and Dr. Umar Johnson were going back and forth on Deion Sanders. And Dr. Umar Johnson was so loud and he was so passionate about it. And I just kept going, man, can we get a brother a break? And I know a lot of people are like, well, we nation building. We ain't got time for this. But is it on one person? Is it on one person? I talked about nation building when I spoke on the panel at the Power Networking Conference. Nation building should be in our decision-making processes as community leaders and as business people. Are we nation building or not? That should be a part of it. But if a person has to tap out, is that fair? Some people don't have longevity like we do. Some people can't just hang in there and just go, I'm just going to keep going like we do. Some people are like, man, I'm at a crossroads. And sometimes God just says, I want you to do this, get this going, get this started, and then I got another assignment for you. I don't know. But I just want to remind us of what another aspect of nation building. In that, yes, nation building, we got to take the chances. We got to do what we got to do. We got to make a difference. We got to step out there, step out over our skis, move on beyond our intellectual capacity. But we also probably shouldn't be so critical of those of our people who stand up. That's why I don't judge when you hear them come out with rumors about Martin Luther King or, any of our leaders and stuff like that. I ain't got no judgment in that, because what that person stepped out there and did and is still doing, we're still benefiting from it. And so my leaders and my people that they love, I don't really, even I'm like that with people I care about anyway. I don't really care what you got to say about them. You can call me on the phone and say, well, I heard that Minister Farrakhan did such and such, such and such. I don't really care. It doesn't matter to me, because it doesn't change who he is in my mind and my heart. You could call me and say, girl, I saw your cousin down there doing blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter to me. If I have a relationship with that person where I can give them a call and say, hey, can we talk about what's going on? I'll do that. Can I support you? I'll do that. And people in my family know that about me. I'll jump on the plane in a minute, like, I'm coming. I'm on my way. I'm going to help you out and do what I can. I'm going to be present. If I got to hold your hand, give you a hug, help you, give you some money, get you out of that situation, whatever I can do. And then whatever it is that you did wrong, we can have that conversation. But what about going back to having each other's back? See, some of us call ourselves gangster. I call myself gangster because I'm so gangster that you're not going to break no tie that I have with somebody just because you say something or because even that they did something. We're going to deal with what you did, but you're not going to come over here and hurt them. You're not going to come over here and dog them out. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. I'm going to look out for my people. When I say my people, my loved ones and my people around me, no matter what. I'm going to look out for them, their best interests. If they say, hey, I'm about to do X, Y, Z, I'm all for it. What can I do to help? How can I support you? How can I help you meet your dreams? And it may not always be financial. Let me give you some information. Do you need to practice? You got a big speech coming up. You got an interview. You want to do some mock interviews. You want to open up a business. Let's sit down. Let's make a list. Let's put a plan together. How can I help you? How can I support? And I was like, I'm like that, whether I got a dime in my pocket or not. And there's not a person that's been around me that can't say that I'm like that, because I get a kick out of seeing people come up and do well. So let's go back to that. Let's go there, where we're just down with one another and it don't matter. I got certain people in my life, if something happens, something go down, if I hear about it, they know they don't even have to call me, because I'm going to show up and be like, what's going on? What can we do? What's happening? But I'm just that Harriet Tubman kind of person. And I know it wasn't a lot of Harriets, but come on, y'all. Let's do better. Let's do better. Don't withhold your good because somebody else appears to be withholding theirs. You do your part. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us to do. So anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. Speaking of doing your part, please support the development and the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. We have sponsorships that are now available. So send me an email at sajdahhouse@gmail.com if you want to become a sponsor and you want to learn more. You can absolutely do that. I really want y'all to get these commemorative Elijah coins. That's what I really want, because this is going to give you privileges. Membership has its privileges, right? This is going to give you privileges and access to things that not being a coin holder will not. When you go through our website, your information gets registered, and we will have it. And so you'll be giving priority access to a lot of things. You'll be the first to know things that are coming up and stuff like that. So, so we ask for your support. You see going across the bottom is the information. You can go to sajdahhousedonations.com and make a donation. Let's see, or I was going to say something, okay, I'm going to read that comment in a minute. I just saw it. Thank you for that. I'm going to read it. I'll come back. You can just donate. If you just want to Cash App, $Mo Today, MOETODAY. Keep this movement going. If you like what we're doing here, make a donation and make sure that you join our mailing list. Let's see. I saw a few comments. Let's see. Stanley Ferguson said, one of the dopest things I heard from another community is that when a member of their community wants to start a business, that person is not allowed to fail. That's the gangster of love I see. That is absolutely beautiful. I see Mom said loyalty. Brother Lamont talked about real support. Sister Alita got the bullseyes happening. Yeah, Regional Sky Girl, you're right. Those Twitter and IG fingers, they something else. All right, y'all. So peace and blessings. Thank you for bearing with me today. I just had to get that off of my chest with you all, because in our movement as conscious entrepreneurs, sometimes things come up and we want to have a conversation about it. We want to talk about it. Sometimes it's nice to see where other people land on a particular issue. And so having those conversations is great. As a free thinking Black person, you have the right to think and feel what you want. And so I say express yourself. I'm just saying that these are my opinions. And this is how I feel. Okay, so Sister Alita is saying that she loves her Mo hoodie. She got a Mind of an Entrepreneur hoodie. I didn't wear mine. I might remember. I'll try to remember to wear it either on a live or something next week. We also have some Elijah Muhammad House commemorative coin hoodies as well. Thank you. I'm glad you all enjoyed this coffee talk. Make sure you get your commemorative Elijah coin. I did a live this week. It's around here in the feeds where I talked about the significance of the coin. I talked about coin collecting and the study of money. And I also talked about what it means to have a coin graded. And if there's a lot you can't say about this kind of stuff without getting into SEC trouble and all of that. But if you are paying attention, then pay attention. Okay. So we're working towards something. All right. So get your commemorative Elijah coin. You're going to want to have, almost dropped it. As many of these as you possibly can. The pendants are nice. I think we got an article coming up in the next edition, I believe, of the Final Call. And it's just an update on our progress so far. Finish line is real close. And you all will see what we've been working towards. So, all right. Peace and blessings, family. I love you. And I'm going to get out of here. Make it a beautiful day. Do something nice for somebody today. Love on somebody today. And we're going to leave out with a word from one of our sponsors.
This is Sister Sajdah Muhammad. We are proud to announce that the Sajdah House commemorative Elijah coins are finally here. As we renovate and restore the former home of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, we have recycled the old copper gutters and downspouts and created a 1 ounce 39 millimeter coin made of 100% pure copper. Each coin is professionally graded and has its own barcode and registration number. This priceless heirloom, made from recycled copper from the messenger's home, is now available at sajdahhouse.com.